All right, welcome to another week of Caps Chat. This week, it's sort of fun. We have the past and the present in goaltenders. Dryden Mckay with us, the Mankato State goaltender, former Capital, and then Christian Stoever, the current Capital. And Dryden, we'll start with you, just being the elder here today. What do you remember of your time here in Madison?
I had a ton of fun. We always had a great group of guys, and I loved Madison, and it was a fun place to play. It was a really good opportunity for me to get some exposure for the next level.
And I know Garrett was telling us the story of sort of how he got you here. Obviously, you were with Green Bay. He acquired you that way. But to start, I think it was your first season, that 2016-17 year, you were in the Nhl. You were getting ready to play a game at the Blaine Showcase, and he sort of gave you a call. Do you remember this story? Does this strike a bell?
Yeah, so I got cut by Green Bay on Monday, and then I waited. I went home Tuesday, and I was kind of waiting to see what happened. I didn't get anything in the USHL, so then I went to the NA Showcase to play for Corpus. I think that was Wednesday. Then I skated Wednesday, and then I woke up Thursday to play the game, and I got a call from him saying, if you play in this game, you can't play in the USHL for me. So then I got immediately on a flight from Minneapolis to Chicago, and then I woke up Thursday morning and drove to Madison, and then Friday we actually played back in Green Bay for the season opener. So from Monday to Friday I was in Green Bay, but I was on three different teams in that time.
I'd say it worked out pretty well. Probably the most predominantly known goaltender to come through Madison so far. But Christian, I feel you're sort of nipping at his heels a bit. You had a good year this past year, acquired from Des Moines. Talk about the acquisition and having to move from the different teams that you've had to go through.
Yeah, no, I like Dryden. I started in the NAHL, so I went through that little phase for a whole year. After that, I went up to Youngstown then for my first full year of USHL action. And then obviously, as you know, I started in Des Moines this past year after leaving school, and then came to Madison. And like you said as well, it was just a lot of fun. Garrett gave me a ton of opportunities throughout the year.
And as far as goaltender goes, for each of you, it hasn't been easy, I'd say, in Madison. Lots of shots get tossed your way. It seems like year in, year out, the Capitals give up a ton of shots. Christian, I know you were around 40. Dryden, I think throughout your career, you were around 38 or 39. Dryden, let's start with you. How was the transition then to college? Do you feel that prepared you a little more, or do you feel that college is not easy, but easy in a sense because you're not taking on that many?
Yeah, I mean, I think I faced so many different situations and so many different players, I guess, in the USHL that you end up facing in college, and getting so many shots and seeing those players' tendencies, I'd say it helped. And then also, in college, we don't give up that many shots, but there's the occasional game where we give up a lot of shots, and I feel like I'm more prepared for those games than maybe other goalies that never really had to go through those type of games in juniors.
Yeah, and Christian, for you, I mean, the same thing. You obviously it's a little different. You haven't gotten to that college level yet. You had the chance, decided the USHL would be good for another year or two, but you went from not as many shots to coming in this year and taking on the most shots in Capitals history, essentially per game. How was that transition going from the NA to to Youngstown and to Des Moines and then back here again?
Well, the NA is actually to me a very good goalie league. Like you get a lot of shots there. Like they're not the best like grade A's and all the time, but you do get like repetitions per game. So, and I feel like I'm one of the goalies that I feel like thrive under like the more shots I get, the more like I get into the game. Versus if I'm only getting like 5 like a period or so, like I feel like I get cold at times. So I'm definitely a goalie that prefers like more action, like just to stay in the game more.
And the reason we sort of had you guys on together, it sort of stemmed around the fact that Christian, you put up a 49 save shutout this year, which is tough to say the least. Is tough. You looked exhausted, but it was really the first one since Dryden had this happen back in January of 2017, and so that's sort of where we based it around. Dryden, how much do you remember of that game, if any?
Do you know who it was against?
Dryden, yours was a 1-0 shutout, January 21st, 2017, against the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Again, it was a while ago. I don't know. I don't know how prominent that is in your mind.
I remember getting a shutout. I don't really remember anything about the game. I remember winning 1-0 though, like because they were not. That was the year that they had like 6 wins or something really bad, and yeah, I remember that game.
You were able to put up a couple. You had 2 in that season. Your first year didn't really get much, but then 2016-17, you had a 4-0 against Chicago and a 1-0 against that Cedar Rapids team. A lot of guys here haven't had that, and again, it was a 3-year span since we got the next one. And Christian, yours came, obviously it was this year, so it's a little more prominent in your mind, but February 7th, 2020, so just over 3 years. I mean, what's going through your mind, Christian, when you're starting to get up there in the third period?
I don't know, because like there's like a huge superstition with goalies where if you say or like, you think about getting a shutout, like you're gonna lose it. But I don't know. I wasn't really like worrying about the shutout. Obviously, Madison, like we didn't have a ton of wins, so it would have just been nice just to have gotten the win. Like obviously, shutouts aren't really common, like with Madison. So that honestly was not even close to like in my mind.
It's not only goaltenders though. I don't know what it was like, Dryden, and what the broadcaster did when you were on yours, but I know, Christian, for years, I wouldn't say the word. I wouldn't think it. You would, from my point of view, you have to go around it. He is not allowed a goal. He has seen this many shots. He has saved this many. Like, you aren't allowed to say it. And it's sort of the same thing. It's a curse. It's a superstition. And you see it happen so much. So it's funny to see it from your standpoint.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I've had teammates like say like even during the games like after the second period, Horvath, for instance, would say like, dude, you're gonna get the shutout, and like next period, like they're scoring 2 goals, and I'm like, I'll give them like crap afterwards.
He seems like a guy that would come out with that too.
Yeah. No, him and Vinny right there, or no, T-Bone. My bad, T-Bone. Him and T-Bone were little instigators right next to me.
The younger guys.
Yeah.
So I guess during this whole quarantine, obviously Wisconsin just opened up this week, but for you guys, I mean, what have you guys been up to? What's sort of been the daily routine for you?
Nothing really. I wake up when I wake up, and then I usually go work out. Our trainer from school has been really good at sending us a workout program, so I have workouts to do Monday through Friday. And then my dad's a physical therapist, so he has a little bit of a gym at his office, so that's been nice. And so yeah, I usually head over there and work out, and then come home, hang out, and then I've been doing DoorDash. I'm a DoorDash driver, and I've actually made a lot of money through that. So that's kind of what I do at night, just to kind of get out of the house, drive around, and it's not a bad way to make a few bucks.
Yeah, no, literally same with the DoorDash.
Are you?
Yeah, I love it because like I'll bring my friends around, and they just like to just spend time with me and just like listen to music. So we'll do that in our free time. Like I don't do it much just because of like everything going around, but and I'm close to Detroit, and it's kind of gets sketchy when you go past dark. But like he said, like I'm not setting alarms. I wake up whenever. Like me and my buddies have been going down to the football field, like getting some workouts in, just throwing a ball around, playing catch. Not much though. I've been forcing myself to play Xbox. I'm not a really big video games person, but I've been forcing myself to do that to kill some time. But Michigan got extended to June 12th, so I still have some time to go.
Yeah, Illinois is on the same track. They're not moving anytime soon. So, how we've only interviewed skaters. With you guys are the first goalies that we've interviewed. Whenever we talk with the skaters, they'll do workouts and stuff like that. But most of them have nets, and they're able to get out and they shoot, and they keep their game up that way. How have you guys been able to? As a goalie, it's not like you go out and you shoot all the time. It's more reaction and catching and hand-eye coordination. Aside from video games, how do you guys really go about, keeping that stuff up to date?
There's a place here. My dad actually helps run it. It's got some hand-eye coordination stuff. It's vision training. So It's got some different exercises that I can do to work on my hand-eye coordination. I've kind of just been trying to relax now. That's kind of something I do closer to the season. So I haven't really been doing much goalie-specific stuff just yet. But I'll probably start doing that stuff later in the summer.
Yeah, no, I personally, like, during the summers, I don't even skate a lot, but this coming up, I'm hoping to, at least now, just with everything going on. If anything, during the summers, I'm more of like mobility and flexibility, like workouts and stuff like that.
Dryden, for you, I mean, you had a big year. Both of you did, but Dryden, for you, you were one of the finalists goalie of the year in collegiate hockey as only a sophomore. You still have a couple years left. I mean, what do you attribute that to? Why do you feel that you were able to really propel your game and take it up a notch this year as opposed to, coming in last year, and what do we expect for the future?
I mean, we have a great support staff at Minnesota State. They do everything they can to help you achieve, whether that's having a goalie coach full time has been huge for me. He comes out once a week or twice a week sometimes, and he's always there for the games, and he watches video with me and just stuff like that. So that's been a huge help. And then, the team, just kind of the way we play, it's defense first. It's our take care of our zone first, and then go play offense. And obviously we have some really elite high-end players that, have the puck more than the other teams. So, it definitely helps to be a goalie behind one of those teams. And it helps the stats some nights when, your team has the puck a lot. And overall, we had a really great team and a lot of good players, and we played a great system. And, I can't say enough about how well they treat us. And overall, just a really great situation.
Christian, for you too, I mean, obviously a superb year. We know the numbers you were able to put up. You ended up making it to one of the all-USHL teams. So it's sort of the same thing for you, because we can go back and we can look at, last year in Youngstown, an 866 save percentage, and then you come here to Madison, you're at a 914 save percentage. It's, nearly unheard of. So what do you feel that it was that sort of took you to this next level?
Personally, I think it was just like my confidence. I don't know if not many people know this, but I want to stay another year in the NAHL. And I just kind of had just different people convince me to go to the USHL. Just say that needs to be the next step. And I don't know. I feel like I rushed into the USHL, which is one of if not the best league, I feel like, for juniors. And just being a vet this past year, I feel like I was way more comfortable, and the game was just slowed down a ton. And I was just able to go out each night, not really worry, especially in Madison, not really worry about winning or losing, just going out, making sure I can do the best I can for the team.
So there's a stigma, and I feel like everybody says it. Goalies are weird. Goalies are strange. They're sort of the odd breed when it comes to, how do you guys feel about that? Do you feel that, not that you stick out, but that you're a little different in a sense?
I don't know. I've been told I'm one of the more normal goalies, so I don't know. I hope not. But I definitely played with some weird goalies. Lebedev, my first year in Madison, was he's one of those guys that where the stigma comes from. He was kind of his own breed. And then I played with a couple other guys that are goalies, how we get the reputation. But I feel like I'm pretty normal. I'm pretty laid back. Before games, I'm pretty relaxed. I talk to guys, joke around and stuff. But there's definitely some goalies out there that get really intense, and it's just kind of whatever works.
We did get to talk to Mick and Anthony last week, and they brought up Lebedev a couple times just on the fact of they loved listening when he would control the music.
Yeah, he was one of a kind, to say the least.
Yeah. Christian, what about you? How do you feel? You fit the goalie stigma, or you fit the skater stigma?
I mean, I feel like you can answer that more, because for an unbiased opinion. But I don't know. I feel like I joke around on game days, and I come to the rink and joke around. But I know when to be serious and when to focus in on what I need to. But I'm not sure. I feel like I'm weird, but I don't want to throw myself under the bus right now.
Well, they always say any guy that'll take 100-mile clapper to the head has to be a little strange. So
yeah, there you
All right, let's move on. I had you guys fill out the top 5 questionnaires so we can take a look at that. And we'll start with the movie aspect of things. Again, a lot of times we get guys that are on the same team or have been on the same team or around each other a lot. You guys have, I don't think you've ever met before.
No.
So this is fun. We get to see where things compare and looking at it. I don't think you guys had any crossover on the movie front. Christian, you went a little more serious, I feel. Not as much comedy as what I've seen a lot of people put out before, but then on the other side, you have Dryden, who's got, a bunch of comedy on there.
Yeah, no, I mean, Forrest Gump, like, Wolf of Wall Street, like, I've seen those, and, like, like, the movies that I put down, I'm just a huge Tarantino fan, and I think I only put 1 or 2 down, I'm not sure, but, like, I love comedies and stuff. I just enjoy the action. Like, if it's a good story and plot, I enjoy those, like, a lot more just because it's more serious and more, like, thought of, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was hard. That was a hard questionnaire. I had to think about the movies for a while. But yeah, I mean, I looked at his list, and I like all those movies too. I've seen The Dark Knight a bunch of times. Step Brothers is a classic, and The Other Guys is a really good movie too. I don't know if I've seen the other Pulp Fiction or Captain America though.
Oh
yeah. Are you a fan of sort of that superhero genre, Dryden? Do you follow sort of the Marvel universe or not really?
I've seen a few here and there, but I still haven't seen Endgame. I don't know if I should see it or if I should try to watch all the other ones first.
I watch it first because I didn't see Captain Marvel, and like just that or Doctor Strange, and like when I saw them in Endgame, it's like I know who, like, you know who they are, but you have no clue like how they got there. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Like, but there's so many movies and like with Marvel,
Yeah,
there's like 100 or something.
Yeah, you really have to sit down.
Yeah.
During quarantine, I sat down with my mom. I sat down with my mom actually, and we watched them all over the course of like 2 weeks. But yeah, it's a lot of movies. I think there were like 18 movies or 21 movies or something like that. So it's a lot of man hours you got to put in.
Yeah, and they're all like 3 hours long too. Like they're not short.
They only get longer.
Yeah. Endgame, I think, was like 3.5.
Yeah. Pulp Fiction. I have mixed reviews on Pulp Fiction. Like, it's Tarantino. Tarantino's amazing. From a directorial standpoint, it's outstanding. From a story standpoint, I feel like it left a lot I don't know. I feel like I left wanting a lot, and it didn't hit those points for me. So it was very strange.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's like one of those movies where you need to watch it like more than once, I feel like, because the first time going around, like, you miss things, and like just the way he put it all together, it's like you know how it is. It's like the beginning of the clip here, and then the end of the clip is like in the middle, and then like it's weird, but that's just like the way he did it. And if like you pay attention, like that's why if you watch it more than once, like you're able to like see different details that like he added in throughout the whole movie, and like put it together more easily.
Dryden, in years, I don't think I've ever seen The Accountant, and I feel bad for saying it, but I've never seen Shawshank still.
Really?
Yeah.
I think The Accountant is the one with is it Ben Affleck? Yeah, he's got like I think he has autism or something, but he's like a really good accountant, but he's also like he's like a killer on the side. He like kills like people that are like robbing the system, kind of. I don't know how to describe it, but I don't know. I really like that movie.
Yeah, that's a newer one, and Wolf of Wall Street is an instant classic. It hasn't been out very long, but I feel like everybody loves it every time.
No, that's a classic.
It's like a guy's movie for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. And it's I mean, the scene with McConaughey and Leo up in the doing the chest bumps and everything, that is it's used everywhere. I feel like between you two, you guys have probably heard it in a handful of warm-up mixes as well to start things off. So
yeah, for sure.
Moving on to TV. Love this. Again, never met, never talked. First thing you guys put on there, Breaking Bad for both of you. Top one on there. Why do you feel it's up there?
It's just, I don't know. Like you root for the bad guy. It's like every episode, I feel like just something new happens, and like there's always plot twists and stuff, and they'll always like just leave on like a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I think it's just like, I don't know. It's like realistic, which I like, and then it's like there's action, and then there's I don't know. It's just my favorite show. I don't really know why, but I don't know.
Like you just watch this like nerdy chemistry teacher like slowly turn into like the man that he becomes at the end, and like how like ruthless and like the decisions he makes, like how easily like he's able to just like that, just call the shots, and like this huge cartel business that he gets involved with.
It's all about confidence at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So I mean, he has cancer too, so like he knows like he has nothing to lose. Like if he gets killed, like it's like he's already on his way over there anyway. So
yeah. And then Dryden, on your side, I love to ask it you of The Office and then Parks and Rec. And I always ask it when people put The Office on, but how many times through do you think you've watched it?
I've done The Office. I've watched it too, start to finish, and then like at school especially, we all liked it. So whenever we were just like sitting around doing homework or bored, we would just throw on a couple episodes. So I'd say I've probably seen The Office 3 times and Parks and Rec twice.
I just started up on Parks and Rec again.
Did you?
yeah.
It's been a while. I watched it in college. It's been a couple years. Had to go back. Mindhunter cracked somebody else's list, and then Bloodline we haven't seen yet. I liked Friday Night Lights as a TV show. I thought it was amazing, and it has Coach Taylor in Bloodline, and so that's really the only reason that I started watching it. But it was really good, really good, really good, and then they rushed the last season, I feel.
Yeah, I agree. I think they built it up so much that like they built up so many like of the secrets that the family was keeping that it was like they couldn't really like keep up with it, like you said, like at the end, like they just had too much I don't know, too much anticipation, and then like kind of had to try to figure out how to like answer all the questions.
Yeah, Netflix sort of came back and was like, you got one season, 8 episodes, figure it out. And they were like,
Yeah.
well, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Christian, on your side, I've never seen Peaky Blinders. I've heard good things about it. Same thing with you, just never crossed paths with it yet.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Like looking at my list now, I just realized like it's all kind of like
it's not comedies, I'm telling you. It's
I don't like The Office though. I've seen like 9 times, so like those are like that's a show that I've watched too. It's just like I get like more invested in shows like this, like, and I just realized it's all kind of except for Walking Dead where you're rooting for the bad guy. So I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Peaky Blinders is about like I think an Irish gang. I want to say. And they're just sort of like you just like follow like what they do and how they do business, and I don't know, there's just like a lot of violence, which I guess I'm a fan of. So
yeah, I feel like that's the thing is a lot of people like The Office, but like you said, it's hard to get invested in it every time because either you know what's coming or it's just a looser thing that you can have on the background. Yeah. I feel like more of these shows, like again, I've talked about it on a couple different weeks, but Dexter is one of my favorites. So I love that you have it on there. The first 4 seasons especially, you are invested every episode in and out. After that, it falls off. But the first 4 episodes through the Trinity Killer is you're invested every single episode, and you can't just have it on in the background. You actually have to pay attention. So
yeah, for sure. I don't know, just like especially like what you said after season 4, like, it gets repetitive. It's like just the same. You know, like he comes close to getting caught, and ending, which everyone says was terrible. So that ruined it for sure.
They may come back, but that's the only reason they did it is they wanted to keep it alive in case they wanted to come back. But
right, I don't see it. It's too far. Like
yep,
far gone.
It's tough. Let's go on to video games. Christian, I know earlier you said you're sort of forcing yourself to play video games. You're not super involved with them, so you didn't even have a full top 5.
Yeah, no.
3 different Call of Duties and then Minecraft.
Yeah, no, those I've been playing the new Modern Warfare with my close friends from home over here. I don't know, we just do it for fun. We're not competitive like most of my teammates are in like Fortnite, and where they come back to the rink like yelling and screaming at each other. But I don't know, growing up, like I definitely put my days in on Call of Duty and Minecraft with my teammates, but like right now I just kind of do it just to like keep my eyes like I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I don't know if Dryden does this with Call of Duty and stuff, but it just helps like pick where the target is, and then like the way you have to focus in on it and like aim in. It just helps like your reaction time and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm terrible at Call of Duty. It's way too fast for me, but I'm more of a Fortnite guy. It's a little slower paced, and I don't know. But I struggle to make my top 5 too. My list is really only Fortnite and NHL. Those are really the only 2 I've played in the last probably 5 years. I'm not really a Call of Duty guy. We play a lot of Fortnite at school just because it was fun because you could get like four guys and you're basically hanging out, but you're online. And after that, you play NHL like 1-on-1. I've never really been a big video games guy. I've never been very good at it. So
it's funny though, because of what Christian said. It's a lot of people talk about, video games dexterity with the thumbs and everything, but then also the hand-eye coordination and being able to get better in that. So Christian, it's funny that you use it for that, and the fact that Dryden doesn't really play and you don't really play is I feel an anomaly in a sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get an Xbox until I got to college. So I'd always just play it on my friends whenever I was at their houses or whatever, but I was never a big video games guy.
If that's the reason that you guys are different than the team, I don't think it's a bad way to go about it.
Yeah.
I do like it though. You did have Mario Kart on there, obviously a little bit of a throwback. So
yeah, that's actually really fun. We have 4 Wii wheels at my house at school, and it's pretty fun on the weekends if you get 4 guys, sitting a foot from each other to play it. It gets pretty intense.
Oh, there's a lot of yelling that goes on, some pushing and shoving, getting in people's way. So
yeah, exactly.
Christian, I just never got Minecraft personally. It wasn't for me.
I put my hours into that game. I don't know, just like there's like servers that you can go on with your friends and play with each other, and like there's different game modes that you can do, I guess. And I don't know, if like you need to have an idea of the game. If not, it looks like the dumbest thing. Like I understand that because like looking at it now, I'll watch like my little cousin play every now and then when I visit them, and it's just like I can't even process like how I played that for so long. But I don't know, it's just fun to like be able to do what you want and just like go on little adventures with your buddies, I guess. I don't know. Looking back now, I would never play it again.
I don't think that I could play a game in person or online that doesn't have sort of an overall ending to a game or a goal. And that's just, to me, that's just the hardest thing is.
Right. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. And then on to music, and we'll look at that. We've seen a lot of country in the past, so it mixed with a little pop and rap and stuff. Christian, you just went full speed ahead on the rap game.
No, there's zero.
I haven't heard of any of these songs, and I've only heard of Lil Uzi. I haven't heard of any of the other artists.
Who did I put down?
But Trippie Redd, the Kid Leroy.
The Kid Leroy. He's like a new upcoming. Like he's an Australian. Like he doesn't sound Australian at all, but he's from Australia, and he's put out like 5 or 6 songs in the last couple months that like have blown up from TikTok. I don't know if Dryden's on there, but I don't know. And then Trippie Redd, he's been around for a couple years now, and he came up like 4 or 5 years ago, I'd say, and he's like a big one, I guess, in the rap game now.
Haven't heard any of it. Dryden, on your side, a little more my speed, I feel. First one, Whiskey Glasses, country, right there. Avicii, pretty popular. Halsey is just by far one of the best artists out right now. I feel like everything she puts out is just a hit.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not that picky with music. Like, I kind of have a little bit of everything in there, and that's what I wanted. But I kind of picked the songs based more of like Whiskey Glasses. I have a bunch of buddies that we went to like this lake house last year on the 4th of July, and it was like the most fun weekend of my summer. And I think we listened to that song like probably 100 to 200 times. And I don't know, I just have like good memories with it, but it's not that I love the song that much. It was more like the memories and stuff. So I don't know. I'm not that picky with music, to be honest. Like, I listen to pretty much everything.
I love you have Nickelback on there. I
thought that'd be funny to throw that in there.
Nickelback, I feel like they're not bad. I feel like they get a bad rap. They have some good ones. Burn It to the Ground, to me, that's for baseball in high school. We would go out to all the time. So like
Yeah.
They have some good songs, and especially in a gotta get ready, gotta get pumped up atmosphere, I feel like they have some that'll do it.
Yeah, I struggle with that too. I didn't know. It was hard for me to figure out my top 5 songs because I'm. It's not like I'm like picky with it at all.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the locker room, I already sort of know where this goes for Christian, but do you take control of the aux? Do you throw on the music in the locker room?
No, never.
No. Did you when you were
Not my
here?
role. No, well, like the way our locker room is set up, there's like a little input in the wall where you plug in your phone, and I'm on the exact opposite side of the locker room from that. So that's one problem. And then the other problem was we had a bunch of Europeans on our team. We had 3 Germans, and they like a certain style of music, and so that's what we listen to because they always seem to take over the music somehow.
Did you guys get to pick your own seating, or was it like assigned when you came in?
No, they like put a lot of thought into it. Like they always put like a rookie by a vet, and forwards are on one side, you're on the other. Goalies are kind of like on the ends. So no, you don't get to pick it at all.
So you guys don't get to put like DJ by the aux cord?
No, well, this year maybe because the guy that was our DJ graduated. So we'll see who sits in his spot this year. A lot of pressure though.
The one that gets picked and everybody else gets assigned by the staff.
Yeah, I think so. I think he'll have the most pressure, whoever ends up getting that spot for sure.
Christian, on your side, did you like to grab the cord?
Yeah, no, me and Ricky would always have our battles about we had a Bluetooth speaker though, so it was kind of like who would connect first, and if Ricky was still on, I would still go out of my way to press the button to disconnect it and try and hook up mine just because they would always play the EDM and country, and I'm not a fan of that, so we would always be having our battles back and forth, and like most of the time for like a solid 45 seconds, all you would hear is just like a song for 2 seconds, it would cut out, go back to like his song, go back to mine. Like we would always go back and forth.
I feel, and I've said it, I feel like it was mainly Brandon Suter who got to run it the past couple years that I was here. So
yeah, he was the common denominator then. Like he was the neutral grounds where we would like let him go, and he ran it most of the time. But again, I wasn't a fan of his music as well, but since he was like an older guy and like returner and everything, I usually let him win.
And for you, when Brandon was here, he was not a 4-year guy, but did he still run it, or who ran it?
I don't think he did. I don't think he was pretty shy when I was there. Well, at least the first year. The second year, he was a little bit more talkative. But no, I don't even remember who ran the music. I couldn't even tell you who ran our music that year, or either year really. Or Fadeev ran it my first year a lot of times, especially before games. And then I'm not sure who really had it the second year. I don't really remember.
Oh, and then what about I know here, at least whenever the guys leave and they go to work out before games and stuff, I'll walk in and it's just Christian by himself with the speaker on full blast, just whatever he's got on at the time.
Do you know who I would listen to on game day or no? Do you know who that was?
No idea.
It was always strictly just the Suicide Boys on game day. So I don't know if, like you can probably just tell from the name of that, but I don't know. You can probably check out a song after like we hang up here, but I would strictly like from my car drive over from my build house to the rink, it would be Suicide Boys playing. I would be blasting that in my headphones, and then each time, for some reason, I don't know why I started doing this, but every time I went down to hook up my pads, I would play Kickstart My Heart from Motley Crue. And I don't know when or why I started doing that. I think it was in Des Moines, but I just like stuck with it. And for every game that I played, I would do the same routine with that.
Dryden, what about you? When the guys leave the locker room to go warm up by themselves, do you throw on your own music, or do you just sort of sit there in silence? Or
no, I mean we do a team warm up, so you have to be up there with the guys. But no, I don't. I tried it when I was younger, like doing the headphones and like listening to my own music, and I had a terrible game. And I've never done it since. So I guess you could call it a superstition, but I've never been like a headphones or anything like that. I just listen to whatever the guys are listening to.
And in that sense of superstitions, do you guys, I mean, outside of, not thinking about a shutout and listening to Motley Crue for Stoever. Do you guys have any of these superstitions that you sort of go through, or pregame rituals that have to be the same every single way, every single time?
I used to be really bad. Probably like my first year juniors and like my last couple of years of like AAA youth hockey. So, but now I'm getting older and I'm realizing how dumb some of them are. So I've toned them down. If we're on a winning streak, I'll wear the same suit to the game, which is one I'm trying to get rid of too, because I've a couple different suits and I want to wear them. But if I like play well and we win, then I'll wear the same suit the next day. I don't know. I always tape the first thing I do when I get to the rink is I tape my stick like while I'm still in my suit. That's something I've done since juniors. I guess that's probably the weirdest one. Most guys come in and change and then they tape their stick, but I just come to the rink and grab my stick and tape it first.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I just bring in like a certain amount of water bottles to chug. I don't know if you've ever seen me on the bus just chugging water, but I need to drink a certain amount of liquids and foods and stuff. And then I guess the only thing that I do is I need to pee clear, and that's it. Like I just if I pee like yellow or something, I'm like shoot, like like I'm gonna get like cramps and stuff. But before the game, I just make sure I drink a ton of water and Gatorade throughout the game.
That's when I was in Texas. We had this kid, Matt Brown, who went on to Des Moines. He's at Lowell now, but he would have 6 bottles of water in his locker every single time. And some guys would take one just to screw with him. And you just watch the aftermath, and it was kind of funny. But
yeah, no.
like you, it was just success every time out. So it was tough to really get in his head.
Yeah, like I know how to do like that water trick where you can just go like that, you know, and then like,
I've seen you do that.
Yeah, so I remember like each time Garrett would talk, I had this routine as well where he would come in for his pre-warm-up meeting, I guess, and I would drink 2 bottles of water, and like even though like he's like mid-talk, I don't know why, I just like would like let it drop to the floor, and I would have a pile of 2 or 3 bottles each time, and then I'll just throw them out. And I guess that was like something I did this year as well.
So nothing. I know some guys they have to put their skates on a certain way, or like Dryden, tape your stick at a certain time or a certain way. Nothing like that for either of you.
I'd call it more of like routine than superstition, but yeah, I mean, I get dressed the same way no matter what. That's more of like a routine, I guess.
Yeah, it's just like a habit at that point. Like it's not like actually you might know I take off all my gear in between periods. His eyes were like, no, I take everything off except for my skates, and I'll just go somewhere and like put my feet up just to like get out my gear for a little bit, so I'm not sitting in everything like soaking wet and whatnot.
Jen, what about you? Do you stay fully geared?
I'm the exact opposite. I come in between periods and I sit down. I don't really move. I kind of just like sit there and drink water and talk about the game. I don't know. Kind of sit there. I don't really like to do much between periods. I hate putting on like. I think it would be nice to take off wet gear and like be able to put it back on, but I hate putting on wet gear. That's like my biggest pet peeve. Like even putting on my wet helmet, like going into the next period, it sucks. So I try to leave my gear on. Just so once it's wet, I just don't want to put it back on or take it off.
Yeah. I don't know. It was a nice like little wake up too. Like when I would put my chest protector on, it's just like freezing cold at that point. So I don't know. It was like a little wake up for me too. Like I would get the shivers and then I'd go out and just do it again the next period.
Yeah, maybe I should try it.
I couldn't do that. I would be in Dryden's boat. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of effort.
What about when you guys are on the ice? How talkative are you? I mean, obviously there's an extent of, directing traffic, but how talkative are you guys outside of that?
It kind of depends on the game. If we're winning by a few and it's in the third period, maybe I talk a little bit more, but I'm pretty quiet unless I'm talking about like the game or like trying to communicate during the play. So I don't really talk that much. Even when I come to the bench, like during media timeouts, I kind of just stand there and kind of just take a mental break. It's not like I'm really talking that much. I kind of keep to myself.
Yeah. No, if anything for me, it's the opposite. I feel like if things aren't going right in a game, I'll become like a little bit frustrated and like I'll talk and like try and get like the guys like doing what like they should or like can be doing. And if we have a couple of goals like as a lead or something, I feel like I'll be more focused, just like to like try and keep that lead. But again, like I'm still talking and like giving the guys like heads up and like just little things like that. But I'm not having full conversations and things like that when I go to the bench.
We strapped you up with the GoPro this year. I came over some point during practice and you're like, man, you cannot talk while playing this game. You were like gassed. You couldn't breathe. It was just funny to watch.
It was because like I never like realized it. Like they say like athletes like always say like the dumbest things because like oxygen doesn't go to their brain like fast enough or whatever. But I was trying to put sentences together like mid playing. Like I was just rambling. I could not like think of anything. Like my mind was just going crazy, like trying to think of like a full random sentence. Like
all right, couple questions here for you guys. What would you say is the best USHL arena that you've played in? Facilities and atmosphere. Let's go on two fronts.
I think the best atmosphere I ever played in was we did the Waterloo New Year's Eve game one year. It was my first year. I think we got killed actually, but it was like the loudest I've ever heard in an arena. Like they came out and they looked like an NHL team. Like they were flying. They had like 2 or 3 first round draft picks that year and they just blew us out of the water. But it was like, wow, like this is kind of what juniors is like and like what a really nice like organization. I don't know how to put it, but like a really nice setup, and then the fans were really into it and they get the cowbells going, and Waterloo's rink is pretty nice too. So that game sticks out to me, even though it didn't go very well for us, but it was just like a crazy atmosphere. It was like I couldn't hear anything. Like they were buzzing around. Like it was just crazy.
Yeah.
That's the only game Christian missed this year was that one since coming to Madison. So pretty funny.
I mean, I was on Youngstown when we played at Waterloo, and I was literally about to say Waterloo as well because I remember there was like a line brawl that broke out, and I've never in my life had like noise hurt my ears before, and just like the amount of people screaming and like cowbells going off, like that was the first time ever like my like ears were hurting from too much noise. So definitely Waterloo. But like for facilities, I feel like there's a lot of rinks and teams that have good arenas and stuff like that, but I feel like Omaha could be up there. I know like they have a lot of money in their organization, and their rink is super like well done and set up. So, but like then again, there's plenty out there.
So I usually ask these questions. Again, people that are on the same team. You guys are on different. So, from the years that you were in Madison, Christian, from this past year, if you guys went to a tag team match and had to pick somebody from the team, who would be your tag team partner?
Like for wrestling and stuff?
Yeah, for like a wrestling match.
Suter, Brandon, for sure.
Dryden, what about your time here?
I'd probably pick Alec Bretzman.
Why is that?
Well, he's probably the strongest guy I've played with, and he was also like, he was a super nice guy, but it like got to a point where he would kind of snap, especially my second year when we were the age outs and we had some younger guys that would kind of get under his skin a little bit. And he would kind of snap, and he was so strong that once he kind of got a hold of you, wasn't much you could do. So I'd probably pick him.
When you guys would go on a road trip, who would be most likely to leave something behind?
Probably Brandon Suter. No. One game, we were playing Green Bay, and Werner's Egla forgot his socks, his game socks. And I was like halfway dressed, like I had my pads on and I wear socks underneath, and they chose me because I was the starter that night, and my goalie partner Joe Lamro didn't wear socks, so I had to give him socks. And it was like 5 minutes before warm-ups, and I was like pretty much completely dressed, and I had to take all my gear off and give him my game socks. And let's just say things didn't go very well that game. I was like 2 minutes late to warm-ups. Like guys were already shooting around, and I was just like getting on the ice. It was probably such a bad look, but yeah, he forgot his game socks one time.
Of course, it's Eggle too.
Yeah, not the brightest bulb.
Yeah.
Christian, what about from this year? Who's going to leave their stuff behind?
I don't know. I think someone forgot the speaker this year, and I want to say it was Ricky. I think it was Ricky, but I know people have forgotten things. I just can't think of names right now, but I know people have forgotten. Like, I forgot who it was, but someone forgot their sticks, and I forgot who it was, but I know someone did that. But we'll go with Ricky.
Who's the best kid that you got to room with when on the road in Madison?
Well, it was always the goalie partner. So I'd say Joe Lamro. He was like the nicest guy in the world. He was always like very supportive, and like he would love to have conversations, and he was just like super nice guy.
I would say Frank Dvorny. Him and I, as you know, we were very competitive in ping pong, but we're also very alike with our sense of humor and things like that. So whenever we roomed together, we got along well.
I've talked about that little rivalry a couple different times in ping pong. So even when Frank was on, that was a fun one.
I mean, I have 74 wins. He has 4, so you can bring that to the bank.
Who would you say is most likely to go in for a big hit and just completely whiff and knock the boards? I don't know how much you guys really get to. I mean, you see it from a bigger standpoint, but I don't know how much you really pay attention to those things.
No, I know because like it's definitely happened this year, and like I remember always thinking like, damn, like that was brutal. But I don't know. I feel like even though Brandon laid the biggest hits this year, I feel like I still think he missed a good amount, and whenever he did, like I would always just watch him go 30 miles an hour into the glass and think like, oh my god, this kid just broke his wrist or something. But again, like he laid a lot of hits, but when he missed, like you were able to tell.
Yeah, I was gonna say Brandon too.
Yeah.
Nobody else a big hitter back from a couple years ago, Dryden?
I don't really remember, but yeah, I mean, I'd say like based on the style of play, like Brandon's kind of like an all or nothing player. Like he's gonna either try to kill you, or if he's not gonna get you, he's gonna miss pretty hard.
Yeah.
And the last one here, sort of. Who on the team, or Dryden on your 2 teams, would win if you guys were in an eating contest? Who would be who can scarf it down the best?
Let me think. I don't know. Maybe Bretzman. I think that guy would have Chipotle like 2 times a day almost. He ate more Chipotle than anybody I've ever seen. Like that was pretty much all he ate. But I don't really remember like I feel like I ate a lot when I was in Madison. I went out to eat so much when I played there, but I don't know. Maybe Bretzman or even maybe myself.
Christian, who from this past year would
no,
take
I'm
it?
I'm still thinking, but I don't know because like I'm not the biggest kid. Like I'm pretty skinny, but I remember one time in Green Bay, I remember talking to the concessions guy because I was just so hungry. So I remember I got 2 hot dogs before a game. I was always like Ricky's Billets always gave us like snickerdoodle cookies, and I was always eating like 8 of those before games. Like I don't know, my eating habits before games have not been the best, and like for my junior career. But I feel like the unhealthier I eat, those are the best games I have. Like even at practices, like because we'd always have extra cookies. Like I would always have Diego, our equipment manager, like go snag me a couple cookies like mid practice, and I'd have that. But I don't know. I can't think of anyone that would eat a lot and like we really would give them crap for eating too much.
I always get Steven Davis, and in my mind, I always think.
Okay, yeah, never mind. Yeah, Steven for sure.
And then this is a little different because usually we ask guys, "Who's your NHL comparison?" It's different because there are a lot of different playing styles. Goalies are a little more limited, but who would you guys say that you try to model your game after from a goalie standpoint?
I don't know. I like Holtby, I'd say. He's probably the one guy. He's more like he's like a butterfly goalie, obviously, but he uses his skating more than he uses his size. Like he's always kind of I don't know. He plays big, but it's not like there's some goalies in the NHL that are big and they just kind of sit in the net and take up space. Whereas I feel like Holtby kind of, he's very smart and he reads the play and he uses his feet. So I like to watch him a lot.
Yeah, no, I would say Marc-Andre Fleury, just because like I feel like he makes more unorthodox saves, and like just kind of like he uses more of his athleticism to make them, which I feel like I do some of the times, but I'm not sure. I feel like there's like I have like different little like bits and pieces from different goalies in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, unorthodox saves. I feel like I could put just a compilation of years together from this year. Not first attempts, but second and third attempts that just most guys won't make. So
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming on. Hope you're staying safe. And Christian, we'll obviously be looking to have you in the fall. And Dryden, we're going to keep up with you. And, hopefully we see that Richter come your way in the next year or two. So keep it up.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Cody.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
It was good talking.
Yeah.